everyone! Today we're talking about Disney Cruise Line rotational dining. So rotational dining on Disney Cruise Line is unlike how dining is approached with any other cruise line. So we're going to talk about a little bit what it is, how it works, and some of the restaurants you'll be eating in. I'm Christina.
I'm a traveler, a planner, and most importantly, a mom. I'm sharing my best tips to make traveling as a family a little less stressful. So put down your phone, pack your bags, and let's showcase the world.
So dining on a Disney ship is unlike dining on any other ship. You have rotational dining. So you might be used to traditional cruising where you have one main room and you all go at the same time. You have your buffet and you have your main dining room where you just order off the menu. So that is not how Disney does it. It's also not what has become a little bit more popular in modern cruising with anytime dining, where you have the choice of the main dining room, the buffet, or a specialty restaurant that you pay a little bit extra for. Disney does have specialty restaurants. They have Paolo and Remy. Remy's only on the Dream and the Fantasy. Paolo's on all 4 ships. It's adults only. It's 18 plus. It does have a little bit of a charge, but it's not something that they're trying to necessarily upsell you. The other cruise lines, you kind of don't really get the best quality food unless you are in one of the specialty restaurants, whereas Disney just kind of has that as an added bonus for adults. Not something you will feel like you missed out if you didn't do them, but they are excellent. Some of my favorite food is at the brunch at Remy, but I'm going to move on from there. So rotational dining. Rotational dining, you have a set dinner time. You have one of 2 set dinner times. You either have early dining or late dining. The early dining does book up a little bit faster than the late dining does, but you have your 2 dining times and then you rotate between the 3 restaurants on the ship. So what that means is each night you will go to a different restaurant and you will enjoy a menu in each of those. So if you have a 3-night cruise, you're going to eat in each of the restaurants at least once. If you have a 4-night, you're going to repeat one of them. If you have a 7-night, you're going to repeat each of them and then have one for a 3rd time. You are not going to have the same menu every time you go to these places. They change. They either have a themed menu, so you have a Prince and Princess night, or you have a pirate menu, or depending if you have a Marvel Day at Sea or a Star Wars Day at Sea, you'll have that themed menu, but they have a different menu for the second time you go to the restaurant. The great thing about rotational dining is that while you're moving around, your server also moves with you. So that's very different than eating on other cruise ships where you have different servers in each of the restaurants. These servers move with you. So if you have a dietary restriction, they learn that and they can make suggestions for you. If you don't have a dietary restriction, they still learn your likes and dislikes and will make recommendations based on what you liked the night before. Or if you have a certain drink that you like you have to have your Diet Coke, then they'll have that ready for you on your table. So they learn how you like your meat cooked and all of those things, especially on the longer cruises, that it just takes a little bit out of the hassle out of dining. You know, they just take care of you and no questions asked. So just like anywhere else, you're gonna have great servers and you're gonna have good servers and servers. You don't really have bad servers on Disney ships, but you definitely have some that are better than others, and you know, they become some of your best friends. And some people follow their servers around. They go on cruises based on where their server is going to be. You can request them. So one of the things that you do need to know about rotational dining is that you will be seated with other people unless you request that you'd like to be seated just your party. So if you'd like to be seated just your party, note that is just a request. It's not always guaranteed, but Disney will do their best. But some of the fun part is meeting new people. So I would recommend, if it's your first cruise, don't automatically think you don't want to sit with people, take a minute, you know, think about it a little bit harder. Some of the fun is sitting and meeting new people. If when you do get on the ship you feel uncomfortable, you can always make that request and Disney may be able to accommodate you. The same thing about requests if you are in late dining and you want it to be early or vice versa, you can make that request before you board the ship. They might be able to make that change for you before if there are any cancellations or whatever, but if you still don't get it, go first thing when you get on the ship to guest services. They might be able to accommodate you. So I talked about how you rotate your restaurants. How do you know which restaurant you're going to be in and what night? This is really hard for Disney World veterans, including myself, because you want to plan everything in advance, but you can't because you don't know what restaurant you're going to be in on what night until you get on the ship. It's going to be on your Key to the World card. So your Key to the World card is your room key. It's your way to get on and off the ship. It's basically your Disney Cruise Line Magic Band, right? So it says right there, it has your muster station, it has your table number, it has your dining time, and then it will have a series of letters. So the series of letters is going to be dependent on what ship you're on, but if you are on the Dream and Fantasy, it's A for Animator's Palette, R for Royal Court, and E for Enchanted Garden. So you will have a combination of those letters. If you're on a 3-night, you may just have A-R-E, which means the first night you're in Animator's Palette, second night you're in Royal Court, the third night you're in Enchanted Garden. You may have E-A-R, so Enchanted Garden, Animator's Palette, Royal Court, right? So any combination of those letters, depending on how long your cruise is, you might have A-R-E, E-A-R-A, right? So I don't remember the combination I just said, but A stands for Animator's Palette, E stands for Enchanted Garden, R stands for Royal Court. So you're rotating through those restaurants. And it's super easy. You always have your Key to the Room card with you, so if you forget, you have it right there, and you always have it, so you always know where you're going to be eating next. So it's really easy. It sounds really complicated, really confusing, but it's really easy once you get there, I promise. So let me talk a little bit about the restaurants. You have Animator's Palette, which is themed to kind of being an animator. There's all sorts of fun drawing utensils, there's illustrations, there's also a fun show that goes along with Animator's Palette. Animator's Palette is on all 4 ships, so no matter what Disney Cruise Line ship, you will get to experience Animator's Palette. Then there's the Royal Court. So the Royal Court is kind of it feels a little fancier. It has some elevated foods, and on the Magic and the Dream you can kind of equate it to Lumiere's and Triton's. So Lumiere's is a little bit more French menu, Triton's is a little more seafood, and Royal Court is kind of a balance of the two. And you have, of course, no matter what restaurant you're in, they are happy to accommodate any requests you have. Everything's basically coming out of the same kitchen, so if they don't have something on the menu where you are and you want to get something that you enjoyed the night before, they can accommodate that. Your kids' meals, they're going to have super easy kids' meals at all of them because they know who their clientele is. So you'll be able to get chicken fingers at all of them. If you don't like any of the restaurants, you always have Cabanas, the buffet, as an option. You also have the pool area restaurants as options as well. Though I don't know what they did, but the pool area has some of the best chicken fingers I've ever had. I love their chicken fingers. So if you have a kid who's picky and loves chicken fingers, you know, pick them up at the pool, bring them down to the dining room with you so you can enjoy a nice escargot and your kids can have their chicken fingers. You can also get room service for free as well, just have to tip there. But anyway, back to the restaurants. Royal Court is a little fancier, and then Enchanted Garden is a internationally inspired meal, so they'll have things from all different nations on the menu, and you can choose some of your favorite cuisines. On the Magic, they have Rapunzel's Royal Table, which is dinner and a show, and of course that's German themed. And you have Tiana's Place on the Wonder, which is some of your favorite New Orleans inspired food, also with a show. Again, you always have cabanas as an option. You always have specialty dining as an option if you are adults. Specialty dining is adults only. That is basically how rotational dining works. When you get onto the ship, you are more than welcome to try out one of the restaurants. Usually the buffet is open and it is a little busy and a little crazy. So check and see which restaurant's open. Have a nice leisurely sit down meal when you get on the ship. I always prefer that to fighting people in cabanas when everybody is there. And then for breakfast, there is usually one open, one of the restaurants open as well, or you could do cabanas for breakfast or room service. So lots of options. It doesn't have as many options as some of the other cruise lines where you have the barbecue restaurant and the steakhouse and the Brazilian barbecue, but all of the things you have to pay extra for. The 3 main dining rooms are some of the best food you're going to find in the cruise industry, and you get to try it all. So that is rotational dining. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out, comment below, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, and I hope you all explore the world together.
Need help planning your next family vacation? Visit us at showcasetheworld.com to request a quote or schedule a free vacation consultation. Want more great travel tips? You'll find those there too.